seeing some demand for a Libero tactic. When I say a Libero tactic, I mean free Liberos. A tactic that actually works, a tactic that performs in the game with featuring 3 of them. And today, we have finally clocked it. After about a month of working on one, I have got there. And trust me, it absolutely cooks. Now, if you do enjoy the tactics, it would mean the absolute world if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe. That alone helps me out massively. And if you want to get access to all 3 of these tactics today, the console, the mobile version, access to the rebuild files, you can come over and join the Patreon in the link below, where you can be part of 4,800 people and also enter this month's giveaway, which is £400. So come on over and get involved. Let's get into the testing because we're going to put on a show today. So first up is going to be Paris Saint-Germain. Obviously over in France, we had a fantastic season winning the Champions League 2-1 against Barcelona, the French Cup 2-0 against Olympique Lyon, a very, very easy game there, and the Trophy de Champion, we are also going to win 2-1 against Toulouse. Now, if we actually look into this league a little bit more, it was an invincible season with 31 wins and 3 draws, and I will say, we didn't even really have too much of a shout in the top goal scorer. This tactic is not known for scoring goals upon goals upon goals. It's actually more of a controlling tactic that works really, really well. And Kylian Mbappe, obviously I know he's now at Madrid, we are still on the old save file, 25 goals for him. We've got 3 players in the average rating, 3 players with the most assists, and Donnarumma with 28 clean sheets out of 34. Defensively, we were an absolute brick wall. Attacking, maybe room for improvement, but when you're winning the league, you're not losing and you're not the top goal scorers. You know, the tactic works in a very unique way, and going over to the stats, you can actually see we still did claim the most goals at 104, the most shots, the fewest shots against. In fact, it's a complete sweep, bar the most tackles won. A very, very strong season, a ridiculous season. There again, we are PSG, but still, just to show you what happens when you test with the best of the best. 3 goals a game, 0.15 conceded, 20.68 shots a game, the pass completion at 91.69. Now, I will say the goals conceded is probably so good because we had so much of the ball, more than necessarily it being the best defensive tactic. It is good defensively, but it won't compare to like my Mourinho tactics back in the day. But you don't concede a lot because you've got so much of the ball. So we'll watch one of the league games where there were quite a fair few goals. This is going to be a good example of that, a 5-0 win, and just going to show how attacking these Liberos actually were. They were pushing up a lot of the time. We actually have one of them there scoring a goal from a set piece. If you actually pause it here, look how many people we have. We've obviously got Hakimi, which is 1, creating the chance. We've got Vitinha in 2. We've got Skriniar in 3. We've got Asenio coming in 4. We've got Ugarte in 5. We've got Kimpembe in 6. Fabian in 7. We've got Mendes in 8, and we've also got Mbappe in 9. That is absolutely crazy, but you know what? It still worked very well, and it's going to be Kimpembe who gets the goal, so it just goes to show these Liberos do step up and also contribute with the goals being scored. And do you know what? You can't complain, they do such a good job. We're then going to go over to Germany and test with Bayer Leverkusen, one of my favourite teams to play with inside of this game. And we sort of had nearly an invincible season, just the 1 loss here coming in against RB Leipzig, my favourite team in the Bundesliga. But you know what? We'll go to the league in a second. We'll focus on the Europa League first. A 2-0 win over Liverpool in the final, and a Pokal win as well, 3-1 over FC Bayern, making it the German treble, or the German double, and the Europa League completing the treble, winning everything possible. In the Bundesliga, we're also going to see a very familiar pattern here. No players in the top goal scorers because the tactic's all about getting everyone involved in the goals. The centre-backs, the wing-backs, not the wing-backs, sorry, the midfielders, the strikers, everybody gets involved. And what I've found with this tactic, you're going to have a bunch of players on sort of like 15 to 16 goals, which is why they don't always come up in the player stats, because they're not getting to the 17, 20 goal mark in a season because there's so many players scoring goals in this. We do, however, have 3 players in the average rating, Frimpong and Grimaldo. I'm going to say it, the best attacking wing-back duo last year in world football. Absolutely incredible. The most clean sheets again, and as you can see, scoring the most goals despite not having 1 player inside of the top 3 based off the stats. Overall, we're getting the job done. Most shots, fewer shots against. Possession, not too bad at 57%. Most dribbles, fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. You can't really hate it. And the Data Hub is going to back it up as well at 2.29 goals per game, only 0.38 conceded. Defensively, actually, I'm going to take back what I said. It is a really solid defensive tactic. 18.3 shots a match, a cracking pass completion, and a really strong tackle win ratio. I'm actually finding it hard to find a weakness. And this game really did wrap up the quality for me. I mean, when you're beating a team like Liverpool 2-0, not really conceding too many chances either, scoring good quality goals, there's nothing too much to hate. It's just dominance. We're then going to go over to the Portuguese League, one of the weaker teams in BVT, and I will say with this team, we still get the job done. It is not pretty. We draw 5 and lose 2, and it is going to be the only thing we do win. Knocked out in the semis by Sporting in the Portuguese League Cup, and runners-up in the Portuguese Cup in a 3-1 defeat against Benfica. But overall, the most important job at hand is going to be winning the league, and we have done that very surprisingly, I will say. And on this occasion, we've actually got the top goal scorer, so a little bit different now. 25 goals from him, 3 players in the average rating. On this occasion, no one with the most assists, so very, very different, and it goes to show very, very simple now. Clear as day. When you test in different leagues, different situations happen. I notice in the Scottish League, you can play any tactic you want. You've got to dominate possession because no one plays that way. That's a good example. This is another good example. The most clean sheets we're also going to have. And overall, again, this occasion, 3rd place in the most goals, most shots, fewest shots against, most dribbles, fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. I can't help but say the one thing that's not changing is we are always the best defensively, which goes to show that what I said at the start of the video was a load of waffle. I said it wasn't that good at defending. It clearly is. Over 2 goals a game, only 0.29 conceded, and 91% pass completion, 18.3 shots per game, a good tackle win ratio. Yeah, we're not scoring 200 goals a season, but we're winning the league with a team like this. Then I'm going to go over to the Turkish League and test with Trabzonspor. I believe so you say that. Let me know if I am saying it wrong. And we had an incredible season, an invincible season, also winning the Turkish Cup in 5-1 fashion, but this is going to be the main attraction. As you can see, this is probably the most dominant test out of all of them, including up here with PSG, because 1 draw separates us from winning 38 out of 38 games, coming in against Galatasaray, second favourites in the league. We're going to have 2 players in the top goal scorers, 3 players in the average rating, 1st, 2nd and 3rd when it comes to the assists, and also the most clean sheets. This guy kept almost every clean sheet bar 11 games. A very strong performance, fewest conceded, most clean sheets, best pass completion, most shots, fewer shots against, most goals, not even close to Galatasaray. We were absolutely clear. They're here, we are all the way up here. And again, we also did lift that Turkish Cup, so not much to hate, if anything at all. 3.58 goals a game, 0.34 conceded, and 91% pass completion, over 22 shots. I'm going to say it. It literally is the perfect season. And now, of course, over to your favourite part of the video. That is going to be the tactic breakdown. If you are enjoying back home, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But if you want to get access to all 3 of these tactics today, you want them on mobile, you want them on console, you want the rebuild files on the 2nd channel, you want the rebuild tactics, you want one-on-one tactical help, you want the videos early, you want priority in the requests. There's too many perks to reel off right now. We're not even mentioning the massive giveaway this month. You can come over and join the Patreon in the link below, where you show direct love back to me as a creator. More importantly, you get yourself over 13 perks and become part of a community of nearly 5,000 people. Go over and check it out, you won't regret it. But let's go through and build this tactic, all based off a tiki-taka, and we are going to load in any formation to start with, because at the end of the day, it's quite a unique shape. I don't even think the game offers it. Let's turn our attention to the back line first, because of course that is going to be the main attraction of this tactic. It's literally what this tactic is revolved around. So we are going to go with a sweeper keeper, simply on defend. Nothing too special to talk about there. Now in the middle, I've gone sensible. I've gone with a Libero who is going to be on defend, and we are going to have him opting to also dribble less. Not dribble more, to clarify, dribble less on a defensive Libero in the middle, which then means we can, on the left and the right hand side, go a little bit more risky, go have a little bit more fun. And we have gone with Libero on the right and on the left, both on support, on dribble more, and also set to stay wider. Now, the play that we actually received playing like this was really, really good. You saw it in the highlights with Kimpembe scoring goals. They were so confident on the ball and making quite progressive runs. It was quite refreshing to see. A very different way of playing Football Manager, and to be honest, something which a lot of people wouldn't even dare do, but trust me, you can get away with it. Obviously, the better centre-backs you have, the better Liberos you have, the better it's going to be overall. Now, if you've got a private save of yours where you've got so many good Liberos, you can outclass my results by an absolute bucket load, to be honest, because I've just loaded in random teams. So if you've got Liberos that are at the club and can play it comfortably, you can go on for absolutely decades and dominate world football. But let's go over now and talk about the wingbacks, because these also do play a bit of a very important role and might get overlooked because it's all about the Liberos. But without these wingbacks, the tactic doesn't work, to put it bluntly. So they are both going to be wingbacks on automatic. The first time in a while we have used that. They are going to be aiming crosses at the centre. They're going to be also getting further forwards forwards and also running wide with the ball. And that is going to be the same for the right, as is the left-hand side as well. So again, we'll do exactly the same, get forwards, run wide, and also aim the crosses at the centre. Now in the midfield, you are going to have this position, so please do not try and change it, because the tactic might suffer quite badly, especially the default balance version. That is going to be the DM on defend, who is going to have a couple of instructions: mark tighter and also tackle harder. Now the reason why he's on defend as well is because I don't want him to be too progressive, and naturally he's going to hold his position, which he needs to, because if this player's up here and up here, we are going to have such a space in that area, we're going to get exploited, and it is not going to be pretty. So make sure you have got him there. We're then going to drag this player down here and have him as a box-to-box on support, who is going to have a couple of instructions. He is simply, or one instruction is going to be tackle harder, and the other one is going to be the default, which is going to be roam from position. And next to him, we are going to opt for a centre mid, who is going to be not on automatic, but on support, and he has got some instructions. He is going to be set to roam, move into the channels, and also tackle harder. A player who can pick up the ball and drift left and right, get into different channels, as it says on the tin, and roam, as it says on the tin. We are then going to drag this player in on the left and have him as an AM on support, and he is also going to have some instructions. They are going to consist of get forwards, roam, and also move into the channels. Again, a bit of a link-up player, a playmaker almost. And lastly, we have gone with a nice and simple default advanced forward to polish off what is actually going to shape up as a 5-4-1. Very, very different to a usual 5-4-1, but let's go over to the team instructions now, and let's get into it. So again, the tiki-taka on the positive mentality, tiki-taka positive. We are going to leave this in the middle. We're going to overlap left and overlap right, purely for those, wing backs to actually really influence the game. We're going to play out from the back because we've got 3 liberos, so you have to be playing out from the back. We're going to go over slightly higher tempo. Directness is going to go down to shorter. We're going to run at defence. We're going to work the ball into the box, and we are also going to hit them with low crosses. Now, what I will say about this tactic is playing out from the back, you might be thinking, Josh, well, I want my liberos to pick up the ball and drive at it. You can do that, and it is a little bit more risky, but I actually got some really good results, as you've seen, from playing out the back with the treble libero. So that is why I've gone with that, if you are wondering. In transition, we are simply going to leave this blank. We're going to counter, and we're going to play to the centre backs. That is literally going to be it. So nothing too flash there. And lastly, out of possession, we are going to deploy the higher line, the high pressing line of engagement, much more often, and again, prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Now for this one, you definitely need the next 2 variants, so please do stick around, or of course go over to the Patreon and download all 3. But again, that is not a forced option. You can stick by and simply copy it click for click. For the attacking variant, I want to be a little bit careful and not really, make too many risks, and still have a tactic that does defend quite solidly as well. And I feel like I found the balance quite well. So the goalkeeper does remain the same. When it comes to the liberos, they also remain exactly the same, because I didn't really want them doing anything different. The wing back on the left and on the right are now going to be the same role, but a few more instructions: take more risks, cross more, cross aim centre, dribble more, run wides, and also get further forward. So just buffing them up a little bit and really getting them stuck into the game. The DM now does go to support on tackle harder and mark tighter. The box to box, get further forwards and tackle harder, so one more instruction. The centre mid now actually goes to attack on roam, move into channels, and tackle harder. A shadow striker comes in instead of the AM on roam, and the advanced forward remains exactly the same. Tiki-taka once again on the positive mentality, positive tiki-taka to clarify that. This remains in the middle. We are obviously going to overlap left and overlap right while playing out from the back. We are also going to work ball into the box. Again, a very, very good way of playing football with low crosses. If you are in the last few minutes of the game, you can unselect work ball into the box and be a little bit more sort of carefree with where you're taking your shots. It might be a good shout. I'll leave it up to you. The tempo is going to carry on in being slightly higher. The directness down to shorter, run at defence, and also be more expressive. Now, what I will say is we're not going to purposely play for them, but make sure you've got my set pieces as well, because these will get you goals from corners, from free kicks. They will give you that extra chance of scoring goals, so make sure you've got them. They're absolutely incredible. I've had a ton of good feedback. Trust me, they'll change your game. In transition, we are going to counter press. We're going to counter, so a little bit different from last time, really applying that counter press now, really getting stuck in. And lastly, we are going to go with the high pressing line of engagement, much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, because we've now got the shadow striker also pushing up there, and the line is going to go up to much higher. Now to defend those games out, and you needed a defensive tactic because the default and the attacking ones are actually quite attacking, so you need one to sort of almost just calm the game down, get over the line, and pretty much just waste a bit of time. So the goalkeeper does remain the same. The libero on the right and on the left are now going to be both on defend, simply both on stay wider. No dribble more, no dribble less, simply stay wider. The player in the middle, the libero, is going to remain exactly the same, on defend and on dribble less. The DM comes back in on defend, on tackle harder and mark tighter. The wing back on the left and on the right, that's not a mistake. They are simply both on the default with no custom instructions. A centre mid on defend on the left in the second position in midfield, on tackle harder and his default hold position. Another central midfield player with a lot of instructions, and no, I've not got trigger happy. I want a player who basically takes no risks and does short passing, keeps it sweet and roams about, and is just an option for everyone really. So a centre mid on support, on pass it shorter, take fewer risks, dribble less, shoot less, roam, move into the channels and tackle harder, with the AM now being on support, on roam and move into the channels, and the advanced forward, but he remains unchanged. So this time it is still going to be tiki-taka, but this time on the balanced mentality. We are going to go down to fairly narrow to really drag in the team and make them a lot more compact. We're going to play out from the back still with those 3 liberos. We're going to leave this in the middle. We are going to introduce time wasting, and if you've got them, play for the set pieces. We're going to work the ball into the box still with the low crosses, and don't worry, the directness is not going to go up. It's going to remain exactly the same. In transition, we are going to leave this blank. We're still going to counter, try and score a goal if we can. We're going to slow the pace down to also sort of help out that time wasting. We're going to roll the ball out on this occasion purely to those centre backs as well. Out of possession, we're going to have the standard line. We're still going to play with quite a high pressing line of engagement, and this is also going to remain exactly the same, because I still want to apply pressure in terms of winning the ball back. But at the end of the day, when we've got the ball, there's no harm in wasting a little bit of time. We're trying to get over the line. Sometimes the dark arts of the game are the ones that win you. I don't want to bring it up for any England fans, but Italy-England Euro final is a great example of that. But overall, 3 incredible variants of this very unique Libero magic tactic, which I had a lot of fun making, to be honest. Libero Life is what I named it, actually. A very, very fun tactic to make. And you know what? It made me think I've got to use a Libero more, because they perform really, really well. If you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment below who you think is the best Libero in the game. I'm asking that purely for help, to be honest. But I'll be seeing you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day.